think 2 weeks of rain right now would be pretty good, but we're seeing the fire season is very much alive and well in the North State right now.
It is, and everything is just so bone dry out there because we haven't had that rain
right.
for so long, and so the fuels are just unfortunately ready to go. Let's start off with a visible satellite image, and I want to show you a couple things on this visible satellite. First off, you don't see much activity for the ranch fire, for the north fire, for the other fires, but boy, you can really see this new Delta fire just exploding here on this visible satellite image right here. The smoke plume being blown northward. Also a secondary fire here right on the Trinity-Humboldt County line, much smaller, but it's visible. So if it's visible on a visible satellite image, that's a sign that it's really aggressively building. All right, let's do a time lapse of the smoke plume here of the Delta fire, and you can see the pyrocumulus cloud really exploding here in the past hour or so as it just really develops vertically here. Another sign of a very active fire going on in that area of northern Shasta County. We'll take a look at this on the Doppler radar, and you can see it being detected by Doppler radar. We'll zoom in on the activity, and there you get an idea of where the fire is specifically, just a little bit north of Lakehead right about now, and that smoke plume being drifted northward. And much like we were doing with the Carr fire, we can analyze this smoke plume and see exactly how tall it is, and we query the smoke plume here, and we see the tops of this plume, the pyrocumulus cloud, 24,000 feet, 24,000 feet. As we examine a few specific locations, we get a 25,000-foot elevation there. So that is some big vertical development there, showing the fire is in a very active, the plume is rising very quickly, very vertically as well. All right, temperatures at this hour sitting in there, actually afternoon high temperatures today in the 90s, middle and upper 90s in the valley, 90s also in Trinity County, 92 in Bernie, and in Paradise this afternoon, 87, the high temperature in Chester earlier on today. Tomorrow, looking pretty similar. Still, skies pretty hazy out there. I would imagine some of that smoke from that new Delta fire may eventually sneak its way back on into the Sacramento Valley a little bit later on tonight. 67 at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Comfortable as we start off our Thursday morning. Noontime in the upper 80s. By the afternoon, middle and maybe upper 90s in the north end of the valley. So temperatures staying toasty here for a while. Much cooler weather potentially blowing on in next week. And again, those skies still in the hazy to locally smoky side, just depending on where you happen to be. Had a lot of smoke for the Hers fire on Mount Shasta City over the past week. Now it looks like smoke for the Delta fire is going to impact Mount Shasta, Dunsmuir, and Weed going forward here. High temperatures 80s and 90s in Trinity and Siskiyou counties and in the Sierra and the Cascades tomorrow as well. On the Ridge, you'll find afternoon high temperatures in the low 90s tomorrow, 92 in Paradise, 90 in Magalia, and at Forest Ridge. In the north end of the valley, low temperatures tonight around 60 under hazy skies. Tomorrow, that'll continue, and the hot weather is going to continue as well. High temperatures middle and upper 90s. In the mid-valley, overnight low temperatures in the mid-50s to low 60s. And then tomorrow, this afternoon highs, again hot, 93, 94, 95, just depending on where you happen to be. Your Storm Tracker 7-day forecast, where the weekend is always in view, showing temperatures staying toasty here for a while. Middle 90s, mostly in the forecast through the weekend. Next week, potentially a whole lot cooler, with highs dropping into the 80s. Reading also kind of hot here for the next few days, much cooler next week.
Thanks, Chris.
Well, more breaking news.